read, you begin with ABC. When you teach in South Korea, you begin with a TEFl course.
So casually keep diving into concrete. So this
Melon. Guys, welcome back to another video. To my returning subscribers, I really do appreciate you. And if you are new to the channel and this is the first time that you're seeing my face, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Annah and I am an English teacher in South Korea. So here you can find content related to teaching English abroad, teaching English in South Korea, as well as some lifestyle content in between. So guys, before we get into today's video, first things first, make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure that you have clicked the notification bell so you know every time I post a video, which is weekly. And also, please do give this video a thumbs up. I mean, you already clicked on the video, so why not give it a thumbs up? All right, guys, so as you can see by the title, we are talking about some very important things today. Challenge. Money. We are talking about money, guys. This is a highly requested video for a few of you guys. Many of you guys have asked me,
how much does it cost you to move to South Korea? How much do I need to have? How much should this cost?
Hey, so I thought, you know what? Let me take the plunge and my drink and really just put together how much it actually cost me right from application day to my first salary in South Korea. So I have this drink because when I was crushing down the numbers, let's just say that. But it's doable, guys. Don't let this discourage you. Do not let this discourage you. Let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. When you read, you begin with ABC. When you teach in South Korea, you begin with a TEFl course. TEFl course. So when you're teaching abroad, want to teach abroad, you have to make sure that you meet the eligibility criteria. First things first, you need a teaching qualification. So if you have a bachelor's degree and you have your teacher's license and your degrees in education, Oshapu, when are you ready to go? If you have a bachelor's degree in another field that's not in education, then you would need to add on a TEFl certificate. So that was me. I first needed to do a TEFl certificate, which cost me 300 Rand. Next thing, you know that you're going to be moving countries. So you need a passport. You need a passport, sis. Or brother, you need a passport. So I didn't have a passport at the time, so I had to go and take passport photos first, and this cost me 80 Rand. And then I actually did the passport application at work, which was amazing, so convenient. That cost me 400 Rand. Now that that's done, you are applying to EPIC or to Hagwons, however it is you want to come to South Korea. You're submitting your application. And the next thing that you should be doing, which is very important because it takes time, is your PCC. So this is your police clearance. You're going to go to your local police station. You're going to say, I would like a PCC, a police clearance. They take all your fingerprints, with your application and your honor, you give your info, you sign. And the fee for the PCC is 150. Next, I needed my degree to be verified. So I then sent this to SAQA and that cost me 700 Rand. While that went to SAQA, EPIC does also want your sealed transcripts. So then I had to mail Vits and say, hi guys, I would like my sealed transcripts, please. That cost me 200 Rand. That's mahala, guys, 200 Rand, because they wanted it sealed. After that, so once SAQA came back with my verified qualification, I told them to send it to Postnet. Next step is xoxo. Now, Postnet does have a service where they can take your documents to xoxo on your behalf, and that service cost me 400 Rand. xoxo, 400 Rand. And because I was using Postnet, the courier service, it cost me 100 Rand. And then from Durco back to Postnet, where I can then collect it, another courier, it was 100 Rand. Next, now I have all my documentation. The PCC, the apostle degree from Durco, I've got my TEFl certificate, I've got my signed application form. I now need to send these documents over to Korea, South Korea. So I need to send this to Epic. So I was applying with Korean Horizon at the time, so I needed to send my documents to my agency, my recruitment agency. They were in South Korea, so I had to pay the cost of it going to South Korea. And that cost me 900 Rand for my documents to go from Saudi to South Korea. 900 Rand. And that's not the only 900. Okay, so now the documents have left. Down the line, Epic comes back and says, girl, you got the job. Here's your offer. Here's your contract. Yay. But visa, you need to apply for your visa. Now, before I can apply for the visa, one of the visa requirements is you need to have a chest x-ray done. So a TB test, which is in the form of an x-ray. So I went to Mediclinic in Morningside. They charged me 760 Rand. So depending where you go, the price can differ, you guys. So for me, it was 760 for my TB x-ray exam. So exam is done. I now can go all the way to the Korean embassy in Pretoria to apply for my visa, my E2 visa to come teach in South Korea. Now that application, 900 Rand. So there goes another 900. Then we've now done the visa application. It comes through. Yes, my visa got approved. I can now do what? Buy my flight ticket. So I purchased my flight tickets. That cost me 12,000 Rand. 12,000 Rand was my flight ticket. Please shop around. Look around to see if you can find cheaper flights. So yeah, mine was 12,000 Rand to get here. 29 hours of flying cost me 12,000 Rands. Okay, there were some layovers, but yeah, you guys get it. So after that, after buying my flight ticket, before I can actually fly, because we have Corona and Corona Leona, it's like I did and extra expenses. And one of them was doing my COVID test. Now with the COVID test, because it was for travel purposes and not for medical reasons, I had to pay 500 Rand for my COVID test, and that test needed to be valid 48 hours. So by the time I landed in South Korea, that COVID test still needed to be valid. So do take note of when you do your COVID test to make sure it's valid by the time you land. And check if that's the requirement. Okay, next, I have my PCC, I pack my bags, I fly to South Korea. I land, and because I'm in the midst of, applying to South Korea during a pandemic, I have to quarantine. So I had to pay 10,000 Rand. $10,000 for quarantine. I quarantined for, how many days was it? I quarantined for a week. I quarantined for 1 week, and that was 10,000 Rand. Once quarantine was over, we all headed to orientation. All the Epic teachers headed to orientation. Now, orientation, you don't now need to pay for orientation. Thank the Lord. At orientation, you do, however, need to go through the medical checks that they're going to do. So the medical checks or exams. Nothing hectic, don't worry. And that cost me 1,300 Rand. 1,300 for them to take tests. So I know they drew blood, checked my height, my weight, they checked my eyes, there was a whole series of tests that they did that one morning at orientation. Cool. Now, orientation's finished. I now move into my city where I've been placed. Now, for me, I didn't move into my apartment after orientation. So when I came here, I was told that, listen, your apartment is not ready yet. You can only move in on the Monday. So I came here on the Friday. So it was not Friday, on the Saturday. So Saturday, Sunday, I slept at a temporary accommodation, which is on school property. And then I moved into my apartment. But at this temporary accommodation, bebasina blankets and bedding and pillows. So there was no bedding for me to sleep with. So I needed to go and purchase blankets. And it was freezing. Guys, you must just check, when are you coming to South Korea? So the time that I came, they were still in their winter, at least winter was ending. So I came in February. Well, it was cold. So I needed to get at least 2 blankets to make sure that I was warm. So yeah, that's what I needed to initially spend my money on. But I'm going to come to that on expenses while I'm in South Korea. We're going to come back to this point on expenses. Okay, so next I needed to apply for my alien registration card. So the alien registration card is an ID for us foreigners here in South Korea. Just like go South Africa, you have an ID. You need to have an ID here in South Korea, and it is called the ARC, or Alien Registration Card in full. And that cost me 380 Rand to apply for that. Then, once that was done, obviously it took some time. So this takes 3 to 5 weeks to be ready for you. So for all of these documents and things that I had to do, so the TEFl course, passport photos, the PCC, SAQA, DOCO, and the Postnet services, sending my documents to Korea, the chest x-ray, visa application, flight ticket, COVID test, quarantine, the medical checks, the alien registration card. All of this cost me 28,970 Rand.
28,970 Rand.
Yeah, 28,970 Rand. That's just application, documents, flight. Yeah, ladies and gents, yeah. Okay, now let's get into my living expenses. So because my alien registration, I had to wait for that. It wasn't just the time of the alien registration. It was also, you need to book for your alien registration appointment. And I only got my appointment at the end of March. So because my appointment was so late, that is why mine took so long. So I arrived here in February, had orientation, but like my first day of teaching started the beginning of March. Let's say from the 1st of March to the end of April. So that's 2 months where I needed to sustain myself because I didn't have my ARC to get paid in a Korean account yet. So 2 months I needed to sustain myself. And things that I spent my money on was buying the bedding that I needed when I first lived at that temporary accommodation. Then when I moved into my own apartment, I then needed to buy pots, plates, pans, cutlery, all of that good stuff to make this place a home. I had not 1 pot or 1 spoon, so I really needed to buy things like that. Cupboard didn't have hangers, so I needed to hang my clothes. And when I moved into this apartment, oh jeez, it was a mess. It was a mess. But like it looked like it hadn't been cleaned in a long time, like some proper cleaning. It was just dusty. So I then had to go and get cleaning products so I can give this place a proper clean. So, like mop or some detergents, cloth, things like that. So I needed to do that, get that stuff. What else did I spend my money on? Yeah, then obviously is food. Bus card, not buying a bus card, but I'm filling up my bus card so at least I can get around. Every now and then I would go out to a restaurant with my sister when we wanted to go out to eat, or I would buy takeouts when I was too lazy to cook. What else? Every now and then I would get a coffee after work. There's a coffee shop. There's so many coffee shops in South Korea and they are so cute. But anyways, I would get myself a coffee every now and then. So that is all my expenses for the first 2 months, and the total of that was 3,920. So if I divide it by 2 months, that cost me 1,960 for March, 1,960 for April. So if you're saying, Anna, how much were your living expenses for your first 2 months? It cost me 3,920 Rand for my first 2 months in South Korea before getting paid. It just depends on your lifestyle, what type of lifestyle you're going to lead while we're here. Are you going to go to coffee shops like me? Go out to restaurants? Sometimes when you're lazy to cook, are you going to get fast food? Like, it really depends on the lifestyle that you're going to lead. Another thing that I did was, because I get school lunch at school, I was only eating 2 meals a day. So I wouldn't eat in the morning because their lunch is a full lunch. Guys, it's a lot. So I wouldn't eat breakfast. So I would eat lunch at school and then dinner here at home. And then my dinner, I kept it simple. While I was in quarantine and orientation, they obviously gave us food. And some things were like cereals with soy milk and, you know, things that were packaged, ramen noodles. So I wasn't always hungry or wasn't always had the appetite for it. So I just put those things in my suitcase. I was like, I'll eat it later. So that's what I ended up doing in the evening. Sometimes I would have the Cocoa Pops or the Kellogg's with the soy milk. So sometimes that's what I ate, or noodles. Noodles are cheap here. You can live on noodles for your first month. But it is really up to you what you're going to do with regards to that, guys. I will leave that to you. So yeah, with the 28,970 Rand with the application phase and documents and flights and quarantining, plus the 3,920 for my first 2 months here living expenses, in total, let's just sit together. In total, ladies and gents, it cost me 32,890 Rand. 32,890 Rand. That's how much it cost me to move to South Korea. But guys, I'm only sharing this so you guys kind of know what to expect, and that this is going to be costly on your finances, on your time, on your mental health, because you're going to be stressed out with this whole submitting applications on time. It's a lot, but it's so worth it. I would spend this 32,890. I would spend it over again. I would do it again. I am so grateful to be where I am and to be able to have this opportunity. And I'm saying this opportunity because there was a stage in my life where I couldn't speak a word of English. So, at a small village called Limpopo, those are my humble beginnings. So, English isn't my first language. So that's what I'm saying. It's an opportunity to be able to do this, because I know the language and have gone through certain life experiences that have brought me here, like going to study, getting a degree, those things, the eligibility criteria. It is an opportunity. So guys, please don't let this discourage you. Really don't. What is really nice for you guys is now that the COVID regulations have chilled out a bit, you guys don't need to quarantine coming here. So you will be minusing the 10,000 year quarantine. What else? Quarantine. Yeah, self-quarantine, eh? That's all we're taking down. But yeah, guys, that is how much it cost me to move to South Korea. I really hope that finally you guys have received this video you've been asking for. I really hope that it's been helpful, that it's given you guys some perspective, and you know, managing expectations of how much this really is. This is reality check, like that's how much it was. And what's worse is, remember I told you guys that I had applied to EPIC 3 times. I only came here on my 3rd attempt, but I passed the interview here, and passed. So I passed the interview on all 3 stages, had to do all of these documents on all 3 stages, and send these documents to Korea on all of these stages. So I did it. You can do it too. Thank you so much for watching. If you got to this part of the video, I really do appreciate you guys. Please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and click the like button if this video was helpful for you. Thank you so much. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Cheers to spending money, to teaching you.
Big sad, up to my knees. Keep losing sleep, I'm mad.